a Rolex spoon ring. I don't know if you ever seen these, but definitely one of my favorite rings to make out of a spoon because this is legendary. It's a Rolex. Look at it. You have the crown. This is the crown of excellence. You have the Swiss symbol there. And we have different types of spoons that Rolex created. Now, I'm going to tell you a little history on these things before I actually start. Today's spoon ring will be made differently than I made in the past. Okay, this is about the third or fourth ring that I've done, which is Rolex. I've done a saddle type of one here, which I really like because it's kind of like a thicker spoon ring. I use the lateral portion here, and you see that the crown and everything sits well. It feels really good. I really like this type because of it has the nice, concave area here. It fits real smooth. But I've seen this and I thought, you know what, this would be a pretty good way in order to make the ring. But today I'm going to do this one a little bit different. I'm going to cut off this area here, right? And then bring this area to the tip of the crown. All right, so that would be different. And I can use this as a pendant. So I'll like clip it here and then I'll bend it so that a chain can go through, okay? So that's what I'll do with this part of the spoon. Now, only tools that I'm using will be these bolt cutters, okay? And also if you have a saw, electric saw, you can also saw this area up. I'll also be using some tools from Lucky Coin Rings. I'll leave that information below with the name of this device that I'm using to make the spoons. But all it is a Delrin press area with this area here that attaches to my 1-ton press. And this helps me to bend the spoons, okay? So let me tell you a little bit of history about these beautiful spoons because I don't know if you have seen them, but I found an article that's on, I found it in Google. It says, do you know Rolex made spoons? And here's what they're worth, okay? So this article goes on to say, we'll bet you $10 that when you think of Rolex, your mind doesn't call up images of silver spoons. Now, everyone knows about the luxury watch brand. I mean, that's one of my dream watches, a Daytona or a classic silver and black chrome Rolex. Oyster. Man, I love Rolexes, even though it's more of a status symbol, right? But when you think of Rolex, you don't think of spoons, right? So the article goes on and say, yet before celebrities were showing off their A-list status by strutting around in the Rolex watches, the company was making its bread and butter on watches and souvenir spoons. Okay? Discover how Rolex spoons came to be and just why people collect them today. You can find these all on the internet. I located mine on eBay, third market. If you're lucky, you can find them for a good price. Now, as I told you, or you may already know, some of these spoons come in silver or silver plated, but I have the metal one, okay? It's made out of steel. If you know anything about luxury brands today, you know how often they release wacky products to gain clout and attention. Just look at Louis Vuitton, Gucci collection, or highly expensive and average art supplies. Well, Rolex had similar idea back in the turn of the 20th century. They had these spoons. This is what they offered people once they bought their rings. So, jewelry collectors know the story well. Rolex partnered with Bouchard Fine Jewelry in Lucerne, Switzerland, to provide their customers with a souvenir spoon for every Rolex watch they purchased. This enterprise expanded beyond the Lucerne across 8 different cities. Okay, so just want to point out some differences here. You have this Rolex spoon with the Switzerland cross there, right? This one has a nice one, has a rose right in the middle. You know, each one of them have different looks, and they also have, depending where they're from, different cities that's on the lateral portion of the spoon. Okay, pretty cool. And if you can look at that detail in them, okay. So this one here was made with the Switzerland heart, and like I said, this is with the ladle there, and this is how it looks on it. Weezy, how you feeling? And everyone in the chat. All right, this is how this one feels. So let me tell you about a little bit more history about these beautiful spoons. Okay, so they go on to say most spoons came from Rolex with the name on top of the handle, stamped in the center of the company's crown logo. Additionally, the various spoons came with several patterns on the spoon's bowl, ranging from a smiling sun to city scenes. And he talking about right in the middle. Right in the middle. They had got different images all right in them. Okay, as I already stated. All right, the article goes on to say, if you found a display of full Rolex spoons with the crown logo starting up, you'll probably think you struck gold. Just because it's Rolex, you'll think, oh my goodness, I can't. These are worth lots of money. You'll be wrong because Rolex spoons aren't worth as much as their brand name implies. Okay, that isn't to say you can't make a few $100 off them, but it's not the thousands of dollars or the price tag that Rolex name inspires. Individually, Rolex spoons aren't worth a lot. Depending on the collector, you could look at a price as low as $10. And I think I found about maybe one for $10. And I got a kind of a deal when I bought like three at one time. So you can find them relatively cheap, even though you have one of the most well-known logos on them. Okay, collectors of these Rolex spoons do the best at auctions and sell on average for about $150, especially if you buy a whole entire set. These sets usually include spoons from multiple cities. For example, this lot of 6 spoons from Geneva sold for $120. Okay, so you can sell these if you have the whole set. You can sell them for a pretty hefty penny, right? But individually, you can get these for about 10, $15. You know, sometimes eBay sellers do the most and add a little bit more for extra fees. And I understand to make their profit. So let's go ahead and say antique vintage spoon jewelry has been around for decades. And Rolex spoons are just one of the many types that have been transformed from something displayable into something wearable. Okay, so we have people like my friend Jamie from Midnight Joe. She makes a beautiful spoon ring as well. You can check out Midnight Joe. She's on Instagram. Beautiful rings. Matter of fact, I was inspired by Jamie from Midnight Joe, and she's the one who told me to get the Lucky brand um, for the spoon bending. So I got my information from Midnight Joe, and she usually sells these from anywhere from $20 to $45. And this is around the range I sell them to. You know, I sell them around 25, $30. So luxury brands know how to cut corners on advertising like no other companies. Rolex perfected this scheme with their complimentary spoons. After all, who doesn't want to buy a watch and get a spoon for free? Yet there are people who collect commemorative and advertising spoons, so you don't want to throw your grandparents' spoon in the trash. Though you might want to pass up any you find at thrift stores because they can add a lot of cost to it. So if you want one of these spoons, you can find them on eBay, and you can search that site, and you can find a good one for a good price. But today, I just wanted to show you how I make it, and let's start that process. Now, this is a coin from Switzerland. I received this a couple months ago from one of my subscribers, and man, absolutely love this coin. And the reason why I bring this up, because you know Rolex um, being created in Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken. So this is actually silver coin. It's a 2 francs. It is 83.5% silver. Beautiful stars and good obverse, beautiful reverse we have here. It's a 1944. So this is a coin made from Switzerland. And if you look closely, you'll see the Switzerland cross right in the center, right? Right in the center. All right, so this is what I do. Let's start the process. I'm gonna pick which one I want to make, and I think I'm going to use the rose, okay? So what I want to do is clip it about right there into center. Now you can measure it depending on the size of the person's finger, but since this is not for a particular person, I'm going to use this technique. I'm going to save a little bit of that space because I'm going to use this as a pendant, okay? So what I would do is come about right there, maybe 1 to 2 inches above the lateral area. Clip it. It's kind of difficult when you're using this. Some people use a electric saw. Just put some muscle into it. And this area here is what I would bend, and bend it this way, and then use this as a pendant. Okay, so let me find that piece that flew away real quick. So here we go. This is the small portion that's left, and this is the portion that I would make a ring out of. Now, as you can imagine, since I did clip this, this is pretty sharp. So the next thing I want to do is, of course, smooth it out. I'm going to use a 100 grit sandpaper. All right, so let me do that first. All right, so 100 grit. And place it here. And all I want to do is sand that portion so it can be nice and smooth. There we go. I want to smooth each side. And if you have like a grinder, and you can do it with that as well. But what I do is go to Home Depot and buy me some sandpaper, 100 grit, all the way to 3000 grit. And all I do is just sand this area out, kind of round it, so it's not sharp against the skin. There we go. Just continue to sand that area, smooth it out, round it up a little bit. Okay. Just like so. It's still kind of sharp, so you really want to make sure because you don't want that customer to feel this. Makes the ring very uncomfortable. So all you want to do is kind of sand it to that point until it's nice and round. Okay, starting to feel a little better. And I'll show you the results. Remember, this is from Switzerland. This is not the silver one. This is the one made out of steel. But I'm going to put a nice patina, liver sulfur on it. It looks great. The detail pops. And if the customer did want me to add some silver, I can also silver plate it. But for this spoon, it's nice and soft. It's not as hard as the other spoons, thickest, so it's easy to bend. It's light to wear. Okay, so now that I got it smooth in that area, I'm just rounding it a little bit more, hitting the sides. Hit the sides like so. Okay. Nice and smooth. And you know I make coin rings, so sometimes it's a nice break to do something different. And I didn't notice in the beginning that, and I didn't know that it was around for years. Just like coin rings, people wore spoon rings, fork rings, bracelets, pendants, all made from these utensils for years. Not just in America, but all countries. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay. Now I'm gonna take this 320 grit just to smooth the area up a little bit. A little less abrasion. And all I'm doing is hitting every side again. Now I would go up all the way to 3,000, but it's not really a need because all I'm doing is just smoothing that area out. You know? There we go. And that's what we have here. Okay, nice and smooth. So what I want to do now that I move this out the way, now I want to go straight to this tool, the 1-ton press and the Lucky brand tool here. The chat, also Melissa Keno, I appreciate you coming in to watch this process. And all I want to do there, I want to level this up. I can move this out the way. I really don't need that. Place this here like that. Now I'm going to add a little heat just so it can be movable, but it's steel. So even when I cinch it, it's going to work hardened again. So, all right, so let's do this process. I'm going to place it on here. Let me see if I get a little closer. All right. Okay. I'm focusing on this 1-ton press. All you want to do is kind of bend it slightly. My big old arm is in the way. And you want to move it, move it. Move it. And all you're doing is just bending it as you're moving. Just moving it like that. Turning it around. Let me see if I can move you closer because I see my arm is in the way. Okay, let's go here. And if you focus, you'll see that in this area it's kind of twisted. It's kind of moving along with it. And all I want to do is just continue to go to the angles and keep on bending. All right. If you don't have one of these 1-ton devices, you can also use a ring mandrel. Okay, you don't have to use this. You can also use a ring mandrel, like place one on here, and all you would do is the same thing, is just go around with your mandrel and you would tap it, right? To kind of bring them together, you know, like that. Old school way. So you don't always need the 1-ton press, but it helps me to bend it. So that's what I'm using it for. Like I said, if you have one of these 1-ton press, you can. I'll put this in my description below. Okay, so okay, let me straighten that up. And all I want to do is continue to bend it. Bend it here. Constantly going around, making a nice little tight. You also have a ring bender, like some Peppy tools. You can also put it in there as well. So I'm gonna switch it. Today is dog day. Every dog in my neighborhood is barking. So if you hear that, excuse me for that sound. All right. There we go. Now it's bending. Right now that it's bending there. There we go. Now it's starting. What I want to do is make these things touch. So I constantly move it. There we go. And I'm getting it to a point where my arm is all in the way. I can't help it that my big arm is in the way. But what I'm doing is just move it around. There we go. Getting them to touch. And what I'm going to do is to get that area just like so. Okay. Want it to kind of like get to that area and right, let it touch at the crown. I'm sorry, and let it touch at the crown. Okay. There we go. I love this ring because of the rose. I know when my sister sees it, she's gonna definitely come over and take it. That's if I don't get a sale for it first. And I'll put this inside the description below. Okay, and all I'm doing is turning it. There you go, just like so. Getting that nice little bend in it. So let's do this. Let's bring it up a little bit. I'm gonna finish it off. And what you want to do is, okay, let me get it here. Yes, to bend it evenly so it can get there. Okay, you want to turn it. Make sure you get real tight. Let me do it this way. Okay. Just keep on hitting it. Keep on turning it. And all I'm doing is Now my whole goal now is to get it touching that point there, but I'm getting it nice and rounded. Let me see how can I do that? Okay, with this, let me see here. Let me turn that. I haven't done a spoon ring and a fork ring in a while. But I love to do them. I think they're so cool to make. All you want to do is continue to turn it to give it that nice round look. And all I want to do is get that area there. So what I'm gonna have to do is like kind of bend it until it kind of touches. That's the whole goal. But so far, so good. You want that ring to fall just like so. Now, like I said, it's totally different from the one I made here, which I left the ladle. I left the ladle on. You know, this one here, just more of the, it's less of the ring, less of the spoon. And I'm gonna tighten that area up. You know, keep on tightening that, keep banging that area until it's actually closed. But right now, because of my fat finger, it's not closed. But this one here, I can adjust. I just love the way that feels having more of the spoon there. It's nice and comfortable. This one here is comfortable as well, but you have more of this beautiful crown, rose, and part of that spoon displayed. Okay, so other than that, I have to close it up, but it's actually done. Basically, it's basically done. All I'm doing is just get to that point that I'm closing it up and then moving it over so it can connect. But that's the beauty of the Rolex spoon ring. It's really cool. If you have a Rolex, I advise you to give me a call and add this to your collection. I think the ladle is good for a man, if a man would love to wear the ring. It's kind of different. It's a conversation piece, right? And do you have the smaller one here? You know, depending on your ring size, you can put it here or there. But you have the iconic symbol of excellence in the Rolex, okay? Something new, something different from just doing the coin rings. So I wanted to share this today, how to make, or how I make the Rolex ring. I hope you got some of the history, and I'll go ahead and, you know, iron that stuff out. But that's the basics of the Rolex ring. And I appreciate you guys for watching. Check it out. Make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you next video, guys. Take care.